So hello everybody and welcome to Straub's Design Podcast. This is episode 28 and my name is Anne or Anne. I'm a Finn and I now live in Scarborough in Perth, Western Australia. Today is a Thursday, it's the 14th of March and it's a beautiful sunny day in Perth. I've got a couple of things for you today. So I've got three finished objects, or three like Felix says because he's 3 years old. And then I've got some January and February statistics that I forgot to mention last time. But that's pretty much it. I'm not going to show you any works in progress because they're just some of the old socks that I've been working on for a while and you've seen a while back, and I haven't made much progress on them, so I'll save them till they are finished. But maybe just a quick one today, and yeah, we'll see what I've got on my needles next time. But let's start with the one. This is chronological order. So my first finished object that I finished first, that was funny. It's a beanie. It's a cabled beanie and I made this for Finn. It is slightly small for me, but it still fits. So it's made out of North Coat cotton, which is from Spotlight. I should actually find the ball band for it. Just 2 seconds, please. Okay, so I thought I was prepared, but clearly I wasn't. But this is the yarn that I used. So it's Vera North Coat cotton, 72% cotton and 28% wool. And that actually explains to me one thing about the beanie, because I thought this was about 50-50, but it's mainly cotton. And as you can see, especially when Finn wears this, you can see that this edge of the folded brim, it doesn't sit as well as it could. But it must be because of the cotton content and it's not as springy as wool would be. But it's good, it's not too hot and it doesn't itch as much. So I'm sure that this will get used and Finn loves it. But I used, let me just check, 66 grams of this cotton. There is 150 meters in 50 grams, so 230 meters in 100 grams, about DK weight, I would say. So 66 grams, which is about 150 meters, and I used 3mm needles for the rib, and then 3.5mm needles for the rest of the beanie. And this is the rib. About 9 centimeters maybe, if I don't remember wrong. And I actually should have made more cables. I thought that this was long enough, but as you can see I had to improvise there a little bit after I've started the decreases, so I had to make it a little bit longer and it looks a bit funny there, but it fits now perfectly. And I don't think you can notice when you're wearing it. You can't notice from under the pom-pom. You can't notice my improvisation. But yeah, that was a nice project. And I have attached this fom-fom with a button so that I can take it off for washing. And yeah, it's just got an elastic here that it's easy to to attach back on when needed. So yeah, that was a nice little project, and I'm going to make one for Felix now as well, so he has a beanie as well. The pattern is in Finnish. It is from Lankamaailma website called Palmikkopipo. And it was for an adult, and I cast on less stitches, so this one is 108 stitches. And for Felix, I think I will do 96. So take one of these cables off and yeah, make it a little bit smaller for him. But that one is finished object number 1. And the next one, I'm quite happy to tell about this because then I can take it off because I'm a bit hot. I'm drinking tea and wearing a woolen shawl, and it is well over 20 degrees, so it's probably around 28 or something outside, and the aircon's not on, so I'm slightly warm. But the next finished object is the Vertices Unite shawl, patterned by Stephen West, and a Finnish knitting podcast called Tänään Neulon. Jonna there is she organises a Vertices Unite cowl, and I got this finished. I meant the small size. The yarn that I used, my lovely mum was kind enough to order me a ready planned set of colours for this shawl from Kässäkerho Pom Pom. And let me just have a look here. So these are hand-dyed yarns hand-dyed in Finland. It had 3 balls of this Donegal tweed fingering weight yarn, 400 meters in 100 grams, 85% superwash merino and 15% viscose. So 3 different colors of these, and then 2 skeins of merino singles, and it's not, yeah, there we go. 366 meters in 100 grams and 100% superwash merino. And this colorway with all these 5 yarns is called Liinu. And I'll show you the Donegal tweeds first. So this one, first it looked like dark grey, but it's actually like a really dark purpley grey. The colorway is called Blueberry Mustikka, and I love this one. I think this is brilliant. Then there was this green, lovely light green, which is colorway called Minttu, so that's mint in English. And then we've got, let's see, this is probably the correct color. So light pink. I was actually a little bit worried about this when I saw the photo on online, because I thought it was like a beige, but it is actually pink. So I'm happy with that. And the color name is Lempi. There, Lempi. So all these Donegal tweeds, there, I think those are quite close to the actual color. Such nice colors. And then we had a white with speckles. This one is called Tivoli, the colorway, and it's got these little yellow, green, really bright pink fuchsia flecks and speckles, but very light, very much white color, this one. And my least favorite of all of these is this merino single, and the colorway is Daydream. So a little bit too much purple to my liking, but still it goes really nicely with all the other colors, which I will now show you all of them together. Let's see how we go. There. So that was my starting point. And yeah, I've got this this much yarn left, which is pretty cool because I can use this for all kinds of other stuff. Yeah, I didn't sign any numbers. Like, I didn't decide which one is color number 1 or color A, B, and all that. I decided that I will just go by intuition, or just decide as I need which ones I'm gonna use. So okay, let's show this shawl to you first in the entirety. And this is the small size. I had been watching other Finns knitting on this shawl, because most of them started at the start of February, who participated in the cow. And the biggest size seemed to be a schlanket, and I can't have a massive big shawl here because I can't use it much in the Perth climate. So, well, winter time I can, but I would like to use it a little bit more as well, like spring and autumn time and that. So I didn't want it to be that big and warm. So excuse me. But the small size looked a little bit too small, and I thought, no, I'm not going to use a tiny little handkerchief like that. So I decided to go with the small size, but take bigger needles. So I used 4mm needles instead of the 3.5mm needles, and I let myself be quite relaxed with my gauge. And the end result is perfect. So the shawl starts from this end with this green and white section. So it's got the speckled white merino single with the green Donegal tweed, and I think it looks beautiful. And next section here is with the pink and white. So they have the white color in common there. And then when I was planning these colors and sections, I had a look at some finished shawls and pictures of them when people were wearing it. And I wanted to see which sections you see most when you wear it. So it was this one big single colored rectangle, and then you can see the first section here, and then the last single colored section. So that's how I planned my colors, and I wanted to have this blueberry color as one of the main colors. So I used it for section 3, which is quite massive. Then section 4, this is my least favorite. So I used the purpley merino single on this, and I don't mind it. I think it goes well. Only thing is, when you look at this, I don't know if I did the last, like after the short rows, you do one long row where you try and close all the gaps where the short rows end, and obviously I haven't done it properly, or my gauge has been too loose. I don't especially like these loose loops here, but it's good enough, you know. It's good enough. And then I really just wanted to have a monochrome section here, so I used the, well, I call it grey, it's the blueberry color, but the dark grey and white. And then I wanted to have some pink by itself at the end. And the I-cord border, it was obvious to me that it has to be the grey. So that is my Vertices Unite, and I love it. I took measurements of this. I did give this a bath, but I didn't block it. I just spread it onto a bed and smoothed it out. But yeah, I didn't block it. I didn't use any pins or wires or anything. But the wingspan is about 170 centimeters, and the height of it is 47 centimeters. So perfect size. I think this is just perfect. And like many others have said, it's really nice how even this backside looks really nice and clean. I don't know what's happened there, but yeah, where you pick up the stitches, you get these really nice clean lines onto the back side, which is really cool. And although the construction, I was a little bit worried at first about the construction, that you have to pick so many stitches to continue and everything, but it was done really nicely. It was no bother at all. It was really easy, and yeah, no worries at all with that. This was a great project and perfect size. This is exactly the size I like my shawls. So this will be, I imagine myself wearing this lots once the weather cools down a little bit. So yes, lovely Vertices Unite, and I might make another one. Finn really likes this shawl, so I'm wondering if I should make him another one, or he does have a shawl, so I'm not sure. But I would have to make it smaller if I made him one. This would be a bit too big for him, but maybe I can use smaller needles and it will be perfect. But that's Vertices Unite. Oh, I didn't mention, I used 161 grams of yarn for this. I haven't worked out how much of each color, because I haven't weighed those skeins yet, but I will put it in my Ravelry project, and then we will have the meters as well, because the meterage was different in the Donegal tweeds and the merino singles. So I will work that out later and put it in there, so you can have a look if you're interested. But only 161 grams in total, so I think that's pretty good. And then my last but not least project, it is another shawl. You've seen this before in some episode. So this is the Stay Soft shawl by Veera Välimäki, and the yarn is something that I got from Mum for Christmas, and it's Finnish dyer again, Louhittaren luola or Nitlob's Lair, and this is their Ilmatar base, which is 50-50 merino silk, 275 meters per 50 grams, so 550 meters in 100 grams. And yeah, the colors were this fiery orangey. This is campfire to me. This is completely campfire to me. It's called, the color name is Kekale. So this one was my least favorite. Then we had this lovely petrol-y blue, which is called Halla'yö. And then we had, where's the last one? There. I don't have any left, so it's this grey. And then the color name is Sarastus. So those three were the yarns that I got from Mum. And I talked to Mum and she said that she didn't even think that I would use them in the same project. And at first I thought that I wouldn't either, because I wasn't sure if they would go together that well, and the orangey bit threw me off a little bit. But then I started to look at them. And when you look at these two closely, they kind of, well, they don't, but somehow I feel like they go together. Although, you know, this is clearly brown rather than blue. And then, you know, I thought that this would go together because it's, you know, it's fire and smoke and all that. So I thought that, maybe I should make another Stay Soft shawl, because I've loved the first one I made so much. But this is like, it's not quite lace, but it's light fingering weight, this yarn. And I thought, oh, I wonder how small it will be if I use this. But I used 3.75 mil needles, so a little bit bigger needles. I chose the 375 because that's the only ones I have in Chiagu. And I wanted to use them. So I used the Chiagu needles, 375 mil. And this came out perfect as well. So it starts from here, from the orange bit. Then you start striping with the second color, which was my grey. And then the last bit is this blue bit here. And what I did, I wanted to use as much of the yarn as possible. So somewhere around here, I started to make the blue bit already. So I was doing them concurrently. And I did the blue one all the way there, and then I continued a little bit more of the grey and so on. And I used all of the grey. I think I had this much left that I had to sew in, and that was all of the grey. And then I completed the blue bit, and there is an I-cord on two sides of the shawl. This one hasn't had a bath yet, or, you know, obviously it hasn't been blocked or anything. I'm wondering about the bath, or should I just... This is pretty good, so maybe I'll just steam it a little bit. And this didn't... I'll put it on so you can see the size. As you can see, this is a perfect size as well. It's almost the same as the small Vertices Unite. And I used 109 grams of the yarn, which is about 580 meters. And the unblocked size for this is, wingspan is about 193. So it is longer than the Vertices Unite, but the height is about the same, so it's 48 centimeters. And if we compare it to these, which is my first... Where are we? This is my first Stay Soft shawl. Okay, let me faff a little bit. I'll... Yep, there we go. So I'll do a comparison. And I'm sorry for my tummy rumbles because it's lunchtime here and I haven't had lunch yet, so hopefully that doesn't bother you too much. But here's the comparison if we can get it on the screen. Okay, so they start from the same spot. So that's the length difference. That's how much smaller it is. But it doesn't, it's perfect still. And this is such a lovely light weight shawl, only just over 100 grams. And with the silk and everything, it's lovely. It's so beautiful. And the colors, I kind of like it that I have something a bit darker and not as candy lolly type of thing as this, although I do love this one as well. But yeah, something a bit different. So there we go. Yeah, the yarn is 50% wool, 50% silk. So it's super, super nice. So that was my finished objects. I'm still working on my stripy socks and Felix's little socks. And I'm still planning on casting on the Poet jumper by Sari Nordlund from one of the liner magazines. I need to make a swatch, gauge swatch, and because of that I haven't done it yet because I don't want to. Maybe I will now because I don't feel like the socks. I don't feel like continuing on the socks, so I might just do that swatch and put the jumper on the needles. Or this one for Felix. That would be a nice quick project, so we'll see. No, sorry. I just found the punnet of strawberries that I was looking for this morning, and it is on our couch in the living room. Felix must have been the one who wanted some strawberries in the morning. Okay, well, that's not related to knitting, is it? I promised you some stats. Not that you probably are that interested, but I want to do it. I want to have a record of it. So January was a very dry month in terms of knitting. I had one project ready, which was, if you can remember, the lacy beanie called Pakkasyö by Kouluttaja Marika. It was the brown one. So the total of my finished knitting in January was 51 grams and 198 meters, so not much. In February, I had a bit better month. I finished 4 projects, which were the Villapesu Festivali shawl, and it's this one, and I'm still working on the ends. I've sewn in some ends, but not all of them. But yeah, this was one. Then I finished these socks for Finn that I've finally sewn the ends in. And then I finished another Pakkasyö beanie, the white one, with a bit more lacy, wholly lacy details. And this one was finished in February. And yeah, the total was 469 grams and 1,130 meters. So they're very uneven months so far this year. And for this month, I think I've got a couple of projects finished already. Yeah, these 2 shawls that I showed you. So I will get some meterage from them. Not so many grams, but meterage anyway. So yeah. That's it, I think. Yep, that's it from me. I try and wrap this up now so that I don't have to spend ages in editing and uploading. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying your March. I'm certainly waiting for some cooler weather so I can use my lovely new shawls. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.